In this video, we'll take a deeper dive into the Docker file and gain an understanding of layers. When Docker builds an image, it builds it in layers. Each execution of an instruction in the Docker file creates a new layer with only the changes which differ from the previous version in subsequent layers. For example, in this Docker file, Docker will create a layer for Ubuntu, then it will create a layer for the package update, then a layer for the package upgrade, a layer for Python, a layer for pip, and a layer for Flask. It then creates a layer when the source code is copied, and finally a layer for the entry point, which sets the entry point for execution. If we run a Docker build on this Docker file, we'll see each layer being built in the process. And this image was built in 7 layers. We could run a Docker image inspect for more detail and see the layers, as well as run a Docker history for even more detail. And in inspecting this history, we'll see the layers listed in reverse order of how they were presented in the Docker file. For example, here's the apt-get update, followed by the upgrade, the install of Python and pip, finally Flask, then the copy and the entry point. When Docker builds its layers, there are 2 kinds. There are read layers and a write layer. The read layers are immutable. They're what represent the image. The write layer is the container layer, the file system. This layer can be written to when the container is running. It's also deleted when the container is deleted. But the read layers will exist as long as we keep the image. Now, something we could do to reduce the number of layers is to combine some of our run commands into single lines. So here, I've moved the apt-get update and the apt-get upgrade into a single run command. I've also combined the Python and pip3 installs into a run command, and then a single command for the install of Flask. If we build this image, we see there are fewer layers. Again, we could do a Docker image inspect and a Docker history for more info. And we see this time we have fewer read layers and 1 container write layer. And that concludes this video on a deeper dive into the Docker file and an understanding of layers. I hope you found it informative.